If you've been thinking about buying a home, but have been waiting for those home prices to just come crashing down before you do, good news. It's here. Or is it? Which one is it? Are they crashing or are they not crashing? Well, that depends on who you listen to, and it depends on what numbers you are looking at. So let me explain and dive into what exactly is going on with home prices here in Frisco, Texas, and what's likely to happen in the months ahead. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team here in Frisco, Texas. And I bring this up today because I want you to be aware of something that you're going to start seeing in the headlines very, very soon. And that is you're going to start to see a lot of reports, not only here locally, but especially nationally, that you hear on the news that home prices are tumbling. Home prices are coming down. And everyone's going to get really excited and say, look, see, I told you it was going to happen, but things are not always as they seem. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that home prices haven't come down and aren't coming down. That's not the purpose of this video here today. But what I do want to do is explain exactly what is happening and why you're seeing what you're seeing in the media. So first and foremost, we have to go back and remember that the last couple of years in real estate were not normal real estate markets. I think we can all agree it was pretty much a frenzy type atmosphere. Things were going along, and then, the pandemic hit, which everyone thought was going to crash the market, and it didn't. It actually lit the market on fire and it took off, and home prices absolutely soared. But in that time, as they went up, everyone kept saying, well, they're going to crash. This is going to be worse than 2008. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. And it hasn't. And it's not going to. But you are going to see reports that prices are down year over year. So why is that? Well, if we think about it, if we look at the last couple of years, we can all agree that prices were just going up and up and up and up and up. The bidding wars caused home price sales numbers to just continue to go up. I mean, homes were selling for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 or more over list price. That was crazy. It wasn't sustainable. It absolutely had to come to an end. And it did, thankfully. But when you look at how fast home prices went up towards the second half of 2021 and then the first half of 2022, then it's no surprise, or it shouldn't be any surprise, that since prices have been relatively flat here in Frisco since last August, there's going to come a point very, very soon where those lines crisscross, they intersect. So you're going to have the rapid run up in prices we saw in 22, beginning of, along with the flat prices that we've been seeing since August. And at some point in time, those lines, as I mentioned, are going to crisscross. So year over year, you're going to start seeing reports that home prices are down. But are they down? Yes, in essence, they are down from their highs. But does it mean that they're going down today? And that is not necessarily. So if you've seen any videos I've done in the past, you'll know that home prices here in Frisco peaked in April of 2022. They peaked in Prosper a month later in May. Since that time, prices dropped fairly rapidly. As a matter of fact, prices in Frisco dropped about 17% between April and August, and prices in Prosper were down about 13% during that same time period. Since then, home prices locally have basically tread water. They haven't really done a whole lot. They inched up again towards the end of the year. They came back down again in January, and you're going to see that. They're bouncing along, not going way up, not coming way down. But we're fast approaching the time, as I mentioned, we're year over year. They are going to show that they are going negative. And that's going to get a lot of people really, really excited. Here, let me show you what I mean. I'm going to share my screen with you here. This right here is my Frisco market report. This same report is available for any city or zip code in our entire area. So I've got a link to this one in the description below. But here I'm looking at Frisco, and this is updated each and every week. And this is showing where list prices are. And this shows we kind of, prices went up, they kind of peaked, they came back down a little bit, they went up again. But between here and here is that big run up in prices that I was talking about. Okay, here is where we are since August, right? There's August right there. Prices dropped and they've been just trending along this relatively flat line since that time period. Now, as you can see, if we were to extend this out further, at some point, we're going to crisscross across these lines, right, relatively. So it's going to appear as though prices are coming down. But as a matter of fact, as you can see, they're holding fairly steady. And why is that? Why are prices holding relatively steady considering how high mortgage rates have gone? Affordability is an issue. It absolutely is. But demand is still there. Buyer demand is still there relative to the amount of supply we have right now. Let me show you. If we look at inventory, here's looking at our inventory here in Frisco going all the way back to 2018. So you can see as inventory built all the way into October of last year, since that time frame, it has continued to fall. And normally this time of year, we're moving into the spring selling season. So normally you would start to see that inventory curve start to go back up. And we're still not seeing it. We're still not seeing inventory turn that corner and move up. So even though mortgage rates are higher and the number of sales are down, the number of sales that are happening relative to the amount of homes we have for sale locally is still strong enough to keep prices at a consistent, constant pace. And as you know, we need, in order for this to change, we need a lot more supply to come into the market. And yes, there are some new developments coming online in the months ahead, but right now it doesn't look as though anything is going to change with regards to supply here locally to make a rapid difference in where our home prices are going. And most of the reports that I have seen lately are showing that home prices should actually start to trend back upwards again as we move a little bit later this year, as it's also expected that mortgage rates are going to start coming back down. Now, again, do I have a crystal ball? No. Am I telling you that you should absolutely jump out there and buy a home right now? No. But what I am saying is here's what the latest data is showing us. So just be prepared. Like I said, those headlines are going to show that prices are negative year over year. But if you're expecting a 2008 type of crash, it's just not in the cards. It's actually not showing up anywhere in the country, let alone here in Frisco or Prosper. Now, as I produce these videos each and every week, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I just want you to be educated. I want you to understand what's actually going on in the marketplace here right now, opposed to what you are reading. A home not far from me went up for sale just over a week ago. It received multiple offers and went under contract in the first 8 days. I am hearing that more and more and more from the agents that I'm talking to, as right now, there's still just not enough homes for sale to satisfy the demand that we have. With that in mind, if you've been thinking about buying or selling a home, my spring buyer and seller guides have just come out. I've just released them. And I've also got a link to those in the description below for you as well. So feel free to check those out. And if you have any questions whatsoever about the local market or a specific situation you'd like to discuss in more detail, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can use the link below to schedule a call with me, or go ahead and give me a try at 469-296-5230, or feel free to send an email to Andrew@theandrewsmithteam.com.